All right. Well, I am really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Houston NORML. New leadership, we have Jason Miller leading. After the first few months, he's doing a great job, isn't he, guys? All right. And I'm really excited about this opportunity and the opportunity to work with so many great people who are interested in such a great cause. The movement to reform marijuana policies in the United States is actually moving. I know a lot of people have been doing this for a long time. We have a lot of really old school activists in the House, which is really great. All the guys who've been doing this for years and years, and now it's really happening. And now there's lots of young people getting involved with lots of energy, and it's fantastic to see the young people that were serving up on the panel talking about political activism and how you can take action and get involved, and that's exactly what needs to happen. This is a really exciting time to be an activist. The Marijuana Policy Project is a national organization working in about 15 different states on grassroots campaigns. They're working on ballot initiatives, working on changing policies at the state level. I'm a Texan. I've lived in Texas for about 14 years, been involved in political activism, mostly involving privacy and civil liberties. But I've always been very passionate about repealing all prohibition, quite frankly, as an issue of self-ownership and the fact that the war on drugs is a complete failure. However, very specifically what I'm working on now with all of you is to repeal marijuana prohibition in Texas. And so it's an exciting time. I have a job that I love, doing what I love, and it's really a blessing. I worked with Texans for Accountable Government for 3 years, the Libertarian Party of Texas for 4.5 years. We saw representation from the Libertarian Party. Great to see lots of voices. We have some Green Party candidates running for office. Fantastic to see so much diversity on the ballot this year. Now our legislative plan is to introduce 3 bills. One of which is something I think that everyone in this room wants to see, which is marijuana fully legalized in Texas, similar to alcohol. Now the goal for that is 2019, because we don't have an illusion that we're going to be able to pass this overnight just because Washington and Colorado did it. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take a lot of hard work by a lot of people involved all throughout Texas. Now, in the run-up for that 2019 push, we're also going to be introducing a bill for a comprehensive medical marijuana bill. And when I say comprehensive, that means that we're going to have state-licensed dispensaries, and we're going to have a registry for patients so they don't have to be afraid of police arresting them for having their medicine. All right. The final bill is our civil penalties bill. Now, traditionally, we've had a decriminalization bill introduced that takes it from a Class B misdemeanor to a Class C misdemeanor. But what we want to do is scrap that and take it entirely out of the criminal realm and make it a civil penalty. Now, the benefit of this is twofold. Number one is people will not be going to jail for personal amounts of marijuana anymore. Secondly, it doesn't end up being a life sentence, which is what we see now with a criminal drug charge, especially for small possession. And like Zoe Russell was saying, 75% are under 30 years old, of the arrests are under 30 years old. These are people looking to start careers, to continue going to school. And it affects all of that when you have to check the box every time that says you have a criminal drug offense. And that's what we want to change with our civil penalties bill. Now, the biggest thing that we're doing that is different this time is building a coalition of organizations like NORML, like Republicans Against Marijuana Prohibition, the ACLU, Texans for Accountable Government, all these different organizations getting involved and working towards the same cause. And we have our website, which is texasmarijuanapolicy.org, where you can see all the information about the bills we want to introduce and the way that you can take action, because that's what it really comes down to, is just like they were talking about, constituents taking action. Grassroots mobilization is my job. With MPP, we have 2 people working in Texas. We have a full-time lobbyist working the inside game. We're stepping up the professional approach and getting someone who is knowledgeable on how the legislature works, has built relationships with legislators, and is now taking that for our cause. Now, he's working the inside game, and I'm working the outside game, which is grassroots mobilization. One of the great things that we can do right now, because we're in the middle of the campaign cycle for candidates, is showing up at their events, just like they were talking about, and pressing the issue. Because if they don't know you and they haven't heard from you, they can't represent you. And so we have to show up. It's a great opportunity to put them on the spot on this stuff. It's a great opportunity to really make them answer to their positions on these policies and not skirting the issue like they do in a lot of instances. Office visits, like was mentioned up here, incredibly important. Getting into your legislator's office and talking to them about the issue. This isn't just some stoner hippies. It isn't just some kids. We're adults. Some of us are stoners, but we're adults. We are parents. We are business owners. We are serious about changing policies because marijuana prohibition has failed. It doesn't keep it out of the hands of children, and it doesn't work to actually stem the use of marijuana or prohibition for any other drugs. Use stays constant. Meanwhile, we're spending obscene amounts of money on locking people up, and we see the social injustice with this institutionalized racism that has ended up being a result of that. And I would really love to see it be retroactive to free all of our neighbors that are in cages right now when they shouldn't be. And hopefully we can get that written into the bill. I'd love to see an amendment for that. That hasn't been done in any other state, and it'd be great for Texas to be the one taking the lead on that, having the bill that turns out to be the model bill for the rest of the country. And another one of the most important things that you can do to really take action is have real, serious conversations with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. One-on-one conversations about the real implications of prohibition and the real benefits of repealing prohibition, which has failed us for far too long now. And I don't know if there's an opportunity for me to take a few questions about policy. Do we have time for that? Is that appropriate? Okay, and if you just want to shout it out, I'll be happy to repeat the question. Does anybody have any questions about the kind of policy we want to introduce or what you can do to take action? Yes, ma'am.
Republican, I'm a conservative, I know libertarians are as well. Do you have a really good speaking point talking about free markets, what's happening at the border, why Mexico's got all the money,
Yeah.
the government? What can you tell us? What's a good speaking point we can reiterate with our friends?
Sure. Well, it's not a real quick soundbite, but let me tell you that prohibition is a big government idea. It flies in the face of personal responsibility, individual liberty, and limited government. So for conservatives, that's the point, is that this has grown these huge bureaucracies and takes resources away from law enforcement. It prevents law enforcement and the judicial system from facilitating justice for victims of real crime. And when we talk about the violence on the border, that is something that just infuriates me, that we are continuing policies that allow these damn cartels who are willing to use violence in order to make money and are killing people and causing all of this havoc, and we're just handing the market over to them by keeping it prohibited. Now, what we need is business owners that are registered with the state, that the market is regulated so we know that it's a safe product, and allowing that to be the market for marijuana, because we know there's a demand, right? There always has been, and there always will be. So let's bring it to the light, and let's make sure that it's safe and it's legal. Any other questions? Questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Came to California and Washington success was a head favor of, financial contributors. Do you have a list of the 10 to 12 individuals you call upon for like millions of dollars, $10 money for media coverage and surveys? Because that is what's
Sure, it certainly does take money, and the way the nonprofits work, there's usually a few big donors, but there's a lot of members that are donating, $15, $20, $25, $50 as they can, and that's how you do it. One of the keys to the success in Washington and Colorado is unique to states outside of Texas because they had ballot initiatives, so they were able to get people into the streets, getting petitions and getting signatures. In Texas, unfortunately, we don't have that. We're not able to bring it to the ballot through the people. We have to go through our legislators. And so that's why it's important to be getting into district offices. Now, theoretically, there could be a resolution that's passed for a constitutional amendment, and then it would go to the voters. But if we can get our legislators to vote on a resolution, I say let's just pass the law and change the policy. Yes, sir.
Heather, do you have any sort of accountability for our scorecard for our
MPP doesn't do that. However, our partners that we're working very closely with, which is NORML, one of the chapters, I don't know if Houston NORML is going to be doing it. I know that other NORML chapters do. Texas NORML in particular out of Austin will be doing a a candidate survey for at least the statewide candidates. I know they're working hard to get the contact information for everyone through the state, but they're planning on sending those surveys, which have already been created, which in fact, it's the wording of it is for our bills that we're going to be introducing because we're working so closely with them. We want to make sure that we're precise and we're gaining momentum for the exact same thing. And so they're going to be issuing that, and then you can visit texasnormal.org, and they should have their candidate survey available soon so that you can see who you should vote for. Any other questions? Yes. All right. Okay. Well, I am really thankful for the opportunity. I thank you for being here. More importantly, I thank you for being involved and for really being a part of history in Texas. This is a really exciting time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh.